be Brooke Wisman, and Brooke is with the Elder Law and Disability Center.
Thanks. Hey, so I came wearing two different of my many hats. So the one, which I think Dr. Pat thought you all would be interested in, is kind of the day job, which is the Elder Law and Disability Rights Center. So we're a sliding scale nonprofit legal service organization. So we charge fees. They're based on a sliding scale. They're about a third of what private lawyers charge. And we assist with a lot of kind of end-of-life planning for families that own a home but don't have enough income to pay a traditional lawyer for estate planning, but still want to make sure there's a plan to make sure that home's going to get to their kids, not get stuck in probate court. We help with a lot of elder abuse, some landlord-tenant issues. We always, if people are going to qualify, my partner and I who founded it together came from Public Law Center and Legal Aid, so we have a good sense of what types of cases they'll take for free. And so we always encourage people to try the free resources first and then come back to us. And we have some private lawyers we refer to if they're over our income. And then we also kind of, in our mission of Aging with Dignity, do a lot of civil rights cases for the homeless community. And so we represent the folks from the riverbed in the ongoing case against the local governments to end the criminalization and to ensure that there's access to shelters. And through that, we have had a few hundred new beds open already and are expecting close to 1,000 more in Central and North County over the coming months. And then we'll be turning to South County to make sure that they meet the same minimum standards. So the other hat that I will switch to, which is relevant to some of the work that you all do, is I'm also the chair of the Orange County National Lawyers Guild. So we're a small chapter. We are kind of affiliated with the LA chapter because we're working to get enough lawyers and enough legal workers to have a strong chapter here. But the biggest thing that the NLG does that may be relevant to some of your work is our mass defense project, and through that we do legal observing. So when your organizations are having actions or events, when there's a risk that they may involve negative interactions with law enforcement or security or other agencies, we would come out. If you look at the protests on TV, you'll often see kind of the green hats around the edge, and so that's the legal National Lawyers Guild, the legal observers. So we would come out with law students and volunteers. We do trainings for organizations that want to become legal observers, and just make sure that everyone's First Amendment right is protected, and that should people choose to engage in civil disobedience, that there's the minimum kind of possible criminal justice consequences. Yes.
I have a question. What has the success rate been, and how can I put this? Are people being able to be trained for jobs in order to, in other words, to be able to break the cycle of homelessness?
So the cause of homelessness in Orange County is not lack of employment, it's lack of affordable housing. And so we have the significant majority of our homeless community are either employed or already receiving disability income because they're not employable. And so the solution is building affordable housing. And so there is kind of slowly movement toward that. There is a commitment in Orange County to have 3,700 permanent supportive units in 3 to 7 years. But building those buildings requires the commitment of the community to show up to your city council meetings, because every time they try and open one, people show up to the city council and say, we don't want that in our community. And we're not talking about an emergency shelter even. We're talking about a lovely apartment building built by Jamboree Housing that looks like the stuff in Irvine. And the people who are in there are not homeless anymore, because once they're inside, they're housed. So you don't have homeless people in your neighborhood.
But Habitat for Humanity.
Sort of, but it's just regular apartments. It's same apartment that a person would pay to rent, just with a federal subsidy, so that the people living there pay only part of their rent and the other part is subsidized to make it accessible to those who have a lower income or who want a limited income from disability and don't own a home.
Oh, something like housing, like if you're on a fixed income.
Exactly. And so so really the solution is pushing our communities to build that housing, because in terms of, there are certainly some training work programs, some help people get work programs, but the reality is that in terms of solving the Orange County homelessness problem, while it's important to have those aspects, and I know Anaheim recently brought in a company to start doing more of that the real issue is access to affordable housing, the subsidized housing.
Yeah, I certainly understand that, because this is one of the most expensive counties to try and,
and that's why our fastest growing homeless population is senior women. It's, women who have a limited income, who were doing fine when they had 2 incomes, but they don't anymore, or whose rent went up unexpectedly.
Uh-huh,
And
yeah. Almost everybody I know of says that the rent is just,
and that's why kind of the affordable housing, the fixing some form of either rent stabilization or subsidized housing are really the only ways we're gonna kind of end homelessness with permanent solutions here. So that's really the focus I would suggest should be. So,
okay, thank
okay.
you.
Yeah,
I'm
of course.
sorry. I was gonna
No
give it
problem,
to
thank
you.
you.
Thank you so much, Brooke.
Thank you. How many people here have something to do with the homeless? Take their names, get her
I think I
name.
know them all.
I know all work together already.
I know everyone but him, I think.
And there's somebody here who has a lot of places. He's going to speak also, so that's why I'm not.
Good.